Listen to this. Someone actually wrote about this book Flatland that it has length and width, but no depth, just like the Kardashians.
Right, a topical comparison. Derived, I assume, from reader reactions to Flatland, a romance of many dimensions by Edwin Abbott, or possibly A Square, as some noted the pseudonym.
A Square. See, even the author knew it was basic. But okay, fine, lay it on us. What's the deal with this geometric jamboree?
Well, the consensus seems to be it's a satirical novella from the Victorian era, narrated by this A Square character, an inhabitant of a two-dimensional world, Flatland, populated by geometric figures.
Shapes, talking shapes, like a toddler's fever dream. Go on.
Indeed, lines, triangles, squares, polygons, circles. There's a strict social hierarchy based on the number of sides, and regularity. Women, apparently, are depicted as simple lines.
Lines? Just lines. Wait, don't tell me. Let me guess. Lowest life forms, brainless, dangerous?
That aligns with the commentary, yes. Reviewers frequently cited descriptions like wholly devoid of brain. Power and noted women were seen as the lowest class, potentially dangerous due to their pointiness. One reviewer reacted with, "Sheesh, I might have guessed."
Sheesh is right. So, is this guy Abbott just a raging misogynist from the 1880s, or is this supposed to be some kind of joke? Because people seemed pretty worked up about it.
That appears to be the central point of division. A significant number of readers labelled it outright misogyny. "Read this piece of misogyny in high school," one said. Another called the gender politics abysmal.
Abysmal, strong word. But there's always a but with these things.
Correct. Others argued vehemently it's satire, sharp satire critiquing Victorian sexism. E.A. Abbott is perhaps satirizing sexism rather than perpetuating it, one suggested. Another stated flatly, "This is a clear satire on the 19th century Victorian society."
So, it's either offensively sexist or brilliantly satirical about sexism. That's helpful. Like saying a sandwich is either delicious or poisonous. Pick one, people. Did the satire land? Did it feel Swiftian, as one reviewer apparently hoped?
That particular reviewer felt it did not. He just took a few potshots every now and then. This is supposed to be Swiftian satire. Not so much. The effectiveness seems contested.
Contested. That's the understatement of the century. It sounds like World War III broke out in the comments section over pointy women. And what about our hero, A. Square? Was he leading the feminist charge or polishing his monocle?
Reviewers describe him as conventional initially, a member of the professional class, accepting of the norms, including the prejudices, though some called him humble and noted his eventual open-mindedness.
Humble, or just dim, geometrically speaking. Did he ever, get it?
He does undergo an intellectual awakening, according to readers. Visited by a sphere from Spaceland, a third dimension. This experience apparently makes him a more rounded individual, as one reviewer put it.
Rounded. A square becoming rounded. Oh, the geometric irony. And this sphere character, was he like a cool interdimensional guide? Gandalf the globe.
Descriptions varied. A teacher certainly explained the third dimension, but also called enigmatic, arrogant, and clearly obtuse by some, not typically described as lovable.
Arrogant and obtuse. A talking ball from another dimension, condescending to a square. Sounds like my last tech support call. Have you tried turning your dimension off and on again?
The interaction seems central to the book's impact. The sphere's attempt to explain the third dimension upward, not northward, as the key instruction was summarized, is frequently cited as mind-bending.
Mind-bending. People were practically hallucinating. One reviewer prescribed, and I quote, incense, whiskey, and peyote brownies before tackling it. Another just threw up their hands with a far side quote, Mr. Osborne, May I be excused? My brain is full.
Yes, the conceptual difficulty was a recurring theme. Brain twisty, mind expanding, pleasingly warped. It seems the mental gymnastics required to visualize these concepts provoked strong reactions.
Strong reactions. Someone literally said, "My brains hurts." Am I making any sense? I feel that deeply after trying to understand these reviews. It's like, is it a math textbook or a social commentary? Make up your mind.
That was another point of contention. Some insisted it should be read as a mathematical essay, finding the plot simple and contrived. Others championed it as classically styled, 19th century satire. One reviewer even declared, as a novel it's terrible.
Terrible, oh. But then someone else calls it a thought-provoking and fun novel. It's madness. It's like one person saying, "This car has no engine," and the next saying, "Best road trip ever." How can it be both?
The contradictions are notable. Accessibility too. One reviewer reassures readers, you won't need a slide rule or a lifeline to Stephen Hawking. Yet others admit, much of this story went not over my head, but in all dimensions around it.
See? Lifelines to Hawking versus admitting total dimensional confusion. And don't get me started on the reviewer who claimed they were smarter than Abbott because they found flaws in his 2D physics. Yeah, because it made me feel smarter than the guy who wrote it. The audacity.
An unusual takeaway. There were other unique interpretations. One reader offered a deeply personal ASD take, relating the dimensions to their own existential journey. Another imagined Abbott getting the idea from a 4D being named Metawise the Human.
Metawise the Human. Are you sure that wasn't the Peyote Brownie reviewer again? This is getting weird. Okay, listeners, quick poll based on this chaos. That whole women, as lines thing unforgivable relic of the past, or genius satirical takedown? Let us know. I think it was probably just Tuesday in the 1880s.
Moving from the interpretations, the plot points most discussed involved the description of Flatland society, the visit to one-dimensional Lineland,
where the king tried to kill him. Don't forget that bit of dimensional diplomacy.
the sphere's arrival and explanation, and A Square's ultimate fate, which was,
Oh, let me guess. Paraded through the streets as a hero, given the key to Flatland, invited to tea with the pointy women.
imprisonment, for heresy, for trying to teach about the third dimension, described by one reviewer as a poor Flatland Prometheus, lie here in prison.
Of course. Try to expand people's minds, get thrown in the geometric slammer. Sounds about right. So much for being a more rounded individual. Didn't help him much there. Did it?
It highlights a theme reviewers noted: the suppression of knowledge, the dangers of challenging dogma. Alongside the classism, that rigid hierarchy based on shapes, irregulars being killed or imprisoned. It sounds brutal, as one reviewer termed the enforcement of conformity.
Brutal. And people are arguing if it's a fun novel. Okay, we need to land this ship. Despite the Kardashian comparisons and the brain, hurting math, and the potentially offensive bits. Did anyone actually like it consistently?
There was consistent praise for the originality of the concept. Unique classic, brilliant work of speculative mathematics, highly original. The way it explains dimensions through analogy was lauded. Takes a complex topic and breaks it down into a metaphor, one said, and its perceived timelessness, still as apropos today, has not aged a day. One reviewer even summed it up as unique, unclassifiable, brilliant.
Unique, unclassifiable, brilliant. See, even the Italians thought it was something. Probably untranslatable genius, or maybe just weird. So, final verdict. Is this thing a mind-expanding masterpiece or a misogynistic math lesson?
The evidence suggests extreme polarization, praised for its unique concept and intellectual challenge. simultaneously criticized for its narrative structure by some, and deeply divisive regarding its portrayal of gender, depending on whether one reads it as satire or literal representation.
Right. So, it's a Schrodinger's book, simultaneously brilliant and terrible until you open it. Okay, my official heart book radio rating for Flatland. I give it 3 my brain hurts admissions out of a possible 5 Piot brownie recommendations. With a special citation for most likely to be compared to a Kardashian.
A. Specific metric. Perhaps listeners should simply investigate Flatland themselves to determine which dimension of the debate they inhabit. The link, should you dare, is in the description.
Dare is right. You might need snacks, and maybe an aspirin or incense. Next week, we're tackling a cookbook written entirely in emojis. Prepare your interpretive dance skills.
I will consult my schedule. This has been Heartbook Radio.
And this is Heartbook Radio. Stay angular, folks, or rounded, whatever works for you.